This is the Miller Report with Vince Miller, Senior Market Strategist from the Birch Gold Group. Also joining us today, Phillip Patrick from the Birch Gold Group. Hi, everyone. I'm Mark Allen. Gentlemen, welcome to the Miller Report.
Hi, Mark.
Hi, Mark.
We're going to talk about silver. We've been talking about gold the last few weeks, but silver is an interesting material. I discovered a couple of things. That the periodic name is AG. I discovered that it was found about 7,000 years ago, and that today it's used in a variety of industries and is a very much needed commodity. Vince, tell me about silver.
Yeah, you're right. Silver is got a twofold purpose. First of all, it's an investment metal that is sought after. It's considered a global reserve asset, just like gold is. Some people have referred to silver as the poor man's gold. I strongly disagree. It is cheaper, but it doesn't mean it's less valuable. China, the demand for physical silver for industrial purpose has never been higher. Silver is in almost everything that we use, from cell phones to medical equipment. And I think the demand for it is continuing as we continue to innovate and grow.
What about the ratio between gold and silver? I mean, gold right now is where around almost $1,300 an ounce as we speak, and silver is around $19.
Correct, Mark. Yeah, very, very interesting time to be looking at silver. As you mentioned, historically, trading ratio has been about 16 to 1 with gold. And what that means is if you go back throughout history, gold has averaged out to be around 16 times the price of silver. Today, it's closer to 60 to 1. Silver is cheaper today relative to gold than at almost any other point in history. So certainly a good time to be looking at silver.
Is silver also a hedge against inflation? Our last episode, we talked about inflation. Can silver be used in the same way?
Yeah, silver historically has always followed gold, except for when gold took the big jump and silver kind of did its, didn't track as much. And most of the experts believe that obviously if silver was to catch up to historical levels, it would just go through the roof. The thing that most people don't actually understand is just that the supply and demand fundamentals right now in silver are extraordinary. Literally, there's been an ongoing supply deficit for the last 10, 11 years. China has been ordering and buying more silver, almost 300% more silver this year than last year, which is unprecedented. Which just means they're just making it, using it for industrial purposes. And the fact is that there's just not enough of it. I recently read a mining report that said that in 25 years, if they don't find some silver substitutes or more silver, we could actually be out of silver. So we could be depleted of silver right now. And
that, of course, would raise the value of silver dramatically.
Absolutely. The one thing that most people don't actually realize is that 70 to 80% of silver is actually brought to market and mined as a byproduct of other mines, such as copper mines, zinc mines, gold mines, and coal mines, and so forth. So there's literally very few silver mines in the world right now.
So somebody who wants to preserve wealth, to preserve their buying power, as they do with gold, as you at the Birch Gold Group teach and educate people to do, can you do the same thing with buying silver?
The answer is absolutely yes. Silver is very, very attractive in the current climate. To recap on what we've discussed, we've got cheap prices, we've got rising industrial demand, and we've got a supply that's currently shrinking. Long term, that bodes very, very well for the silver market. Its use in the electronics industry has doubled in the last decade. It's being used now more and more in the medical field. It has medicinal properties. It's used for imagery. It's used in burn cream. So very, very interesting time to be looking at silver, and certainly we feel as part of a diverse portfolio, it makes a lot of sense.
And the active word there would be diverse portfolio.
Absolutely.
I talk to people that won't buy gold, they'll only buy silver, which is which is fine. I think you get more bang for your buck. I think you get more of it. I think people historically look at gold as strictly as a protection hedge against inflation. A lot of people have considered silver to be not just for protection, but also for profit. It tends to kind of go up as well when the dollar loses value. It tends to kind of track upward as well. I think that the concern that we seem to have from a lot of people that we talk to is that if it theoretically goes to hell in a handbasket, they want to be able to buy and sell. They want to buy bread. Before 1965 in this country, American coinage had 90% silver, 10% copper. Obviously, today it doesn't. And so there's nothing wrong with, buying a bunch of silver and just having it on hand for emergency fund, having a bunch of bags of silver quarters, half dollars, piece dollars, that sort of thing. It's not a bad way to diversify and to protect your family.
I can remember my parents going to Las Vegas and coming back with silver dollars for those kids. My grandparents too. Mm-hmm. Buying vintage coins like that is that another way of purchasing silver?
Absolutely. Mark, when we were kids, I used to go into my father's pocket and I used to steal these 50-cent and dollar pieces. And I used to go to the Good Humor Man and I used to buy an ice cream. Well, those Walking Liberty half silver dollars, today, I mean, that was the most expensive ice cream in history right there.
Of course. I mean, we didn't think of them as investments at that time. Gold and silver, they go up at different rates. Is it a good idea to have some of each? We just talked about diversifying our portfolio. In your portfolio?
Yeah, absolutely. We always believe in diversification, and I think they have slightly different characteristics, which makes them work very, very well together. Gold is predominantly your direct hedge. It's a monetary metal in a way that silver isn't. So if you're looking for a direct hedge against inflation, direct hedge against currency devaluation, gold will provide you with that. Silver does tend to track gold, but it's a little bit more aggressive and I would say more focused on growth. So the two combined together work very, very well.
It makes a good rounding out of a portfolio.
Absolutely.
And a few weeks ago, I guess we were talking about hedging against inflation. What that means is that as inflation increases, the buying power of the dollar goes down.
Correct. I mean, I think Vince's example previously was a perfect example of that. By sitting in currency for long periods of time, you lose buying power on the back of inflation.
At the Birch Gold Group, what forms of silver can I buy?
We have every option available here at Birch. I always tell clients one type is not better than the other. It really depends on the individual and what they're looking to achieve, and we have all the options available, from bars to coins to rarities and everything in between.
So where do you guys think silver is going to go?
Well, I have to say, Mark, nobody has a crystal ball, so it's impossible for us to dictate where prices are going to be in the future. But to recap on a couple of things that we've discussed here, we have silver prices way off where they should be from a historical trading ratio standpoint. So we can assume silver prices right now are very attractive. We have industrial demand for silver that is growing rapidly, and we have a supply long-term that's shrinking. In my mind, that bodes very, very well for the silver market long-term.
Well, that wraps up our program today. If you have any questions about silver, about gold, about platinum, about any precious metal, you should call the Birch Gold Group at 800-355-2116. That's 800-355-2116. You can talk to one of our precious metal specialists, our gold specialists. They'll answer any questions. And of course, we would like to hear your response to and your questions, and you can do that by emailing us at info@birchgold.com, info@birchgold.com, and of course, visit us at birchgold.com. I'm Mark Allen for Phillip and for Vince. This has been the Miller Report. We'll see you on our next program.